you know, I feel like to some extent, people that are keenly interested in the environment are somewhat skeptical of the intentions of business to really provide help. And you made a transition from the one of the biggest and best investment banks in the world, the center of capitalism, to the largest environmental nonprofit. And did you face any skepticism along the way as to sort of who you were?
Yeah. No, skepticism every step of the way, and it's appropriate. Um, you know, Life's complex, right? And business doesn't always get it right. Even the best and most well-intentioned businesses don't always get it right. And there are also bad actors in the business world. And so I would say a couple of things about that. First, we shouldn't have complete confidence in business. We need great government leadership and great government policy, most of all. And you need strong regulations, and you need to enforce them to ensure business does the right thing. So I like to emphasize that right up front, because business leadership's never a substitute for the governmental and regulatory leadership we need. A second thing I would say is the skeptics about business do a great service. For example, it's almost funny. Sometimes an organization like Greenpeace or the Rainforest Action Network, both very able, kind of left-leaning business skeptics, campaigning organizations, would go after a company for doing something not quite right, scare the bejesus out of the leadership team because they were such effective campaigners. And they'd have a change of heart and end up partnering with an organization like the Nature Conservancy. And net, it was a great outcome, but you needed those campaigners and those skeptics up front. So in the environmental world, perhaps in all worlds addressing societal challenges, but in the environmental world, I would say there's room for every strategy. It's always appropriate to have skeptics and critics. At the Nature Conservancy, we had a lot of critics, and they were good people. They wanted what we wanted, better environmental outcomes. And I would always say to our team, therefore, our critics are our friends. Let's not be defensive. Let's be super transparent. Let's pay close attention. If they find some reason to criticize us, that will be good to know, because then if they're right, we can improve our behavior. So I think that's my broad take. It's not always easy. It's, of course, when you're criticized, sometimes the criticism's not right and you want to be defensive, or sometimes it's delivered with a little bit of extra, venom and vilification. I think it'd be better if it was less often that way. But broadly, there's room for everybody's perspective. Nobody should think they have all the answers. I think everybody should be pretty humble too, even when things are going well. I've had this experience. Even when things are going very well, that doesn't mean everything is. And so that would be kind of my 2 cents about all that. But remember, there are some things that business is really good at when they're at their best. Like we just had this COVID crisis, and I happen to be immune compromised. I'm okay right now, but so when COVID started, my personal situation was scary. My doctor said, until this goes away or until there are vaccines, you can't do anything. You can't take any risk. The reason I mentioned that is we didn't know if there would be vaccines or under what time frame or how good they would work. And so I was thinking, wow, this is going to be really tough for me. I might have to hunker down for an extended period of time. And then lo and behold, these big companies working together with academics and scientists and the government, but really leading the charge, these big companies came up with vaccines that are game changers. And that's the sort of thing big business can do when it's at its best. It can harness capital, it can move fast, it can use technology, it can do big things. And by the way, solving environmental problems requires those attributes. Now, what can we all do? We can all push business leaders, therefore, to behave in that most enlightened way. They don't always do it, but it seems to me we should encourage them as much as we can, and it can provide a lot of upside.